Thank you. Thank you for being here. To you all, I'm very happy to co-present this session on the Share Family Initiative together with Nina Servizi, Professor Roberto Delle Donne, and Sebastian Hammer. Nina, Roberto, and Sebastian will talk from remote. Each of us will introduce themselves. We plan to have time at the end for questions. Let's start. I'm Michele Casalini, CEO of Casalini Libri, a bibliographic agency and library service provider based in Florence, with affiliated offices at CULT, our technological arm based in Rome, and our sister company Erasmus in Amsterdam and Paris. Our organization is among the promoter and the developer of the library-driven initiative we are presenting here, and that involves institutions from the US, from Canada, from UK, Europe, and Asia. In particular, on this continent, the Taiwan National University is involved. As we will tell you, this collective endeavor entered into the first phase approximately 10 years ago, when the founding institutions and organizations identified on one hand the need and on the other hand the feasibility of a paradigm shift from a record-centric environment to an entity-based, collaborative, linked open data ecosystem. The data models started to get mature, and the required technology had evolved. The key reasons for going into this direction were, and still are, the need of a new level of international cooperation to manage and maintain authoritative data that will continue exponentially to grow, make true open data a reality, serve users, students, scholars, general public, and also AI that need quality structured data with search tools that go closer to an actual research tool thanks to the structured ontologies of the data models, and foster the bridge between the library, museum, and archival domain. Some highlights. Built a linked data ecosystem where BIBFRAME and IFLA LRM entities fully benefit from the rich data heritage of MARC catalog is among the shared goals. Serve as a trusted linked data hub providing authoritative, high-quality metadata for the global community. Unify and enrich records from different libraries into a shared entity-based catalog, integrating data from the Library of Congress, VIAF, ISNI, Wikidata, and other trusted sources. Offer a user experience that's both rich and intuitive, enabling seamless discovery and exploration. Open the data on multiple levels through APIs, triple stores, and the discovery portal to support diverse users from research to innovation. Contribute bringing into practice a distributed metadata management environment, and define a long-term sustainable policies in terms of governance and development models. A brief chronology. In succession, 2015 saw the completion of the ALIADA automatic publication under linked data paradigm for library data project funded by the EU 7th Framework Program, and of which we were a technological partner, to expose library and museum collections using ontologies based on Ferber or O, including CDOC CRM. 2016 started with a BIBFRAME-based share catalog and share VDE, share virtual discovery environment prototype presentation at the Library of Congress BIBFRAME Update Forum in Boston. 2017 and the following years were very much influenced by the vision and the direction of the linked data for production projects coordinated by Stanford University libraries, and by the increased number of funding and regular member institutions of the SHARE family. This convergence of interest and expectations led to the release of the program for cooperative cataloging data tenant and entity-based discovery portal, the National Bibliography Initiative, with the British National Bibliography switching to this environment in 2023, Parsifal, the Union Catalog for the Urbe Consortia, Lilith, the portal of ancient illustrated books, the entity editor JCricket, and version 3 of the underlying technology, the linked open data platform. Different communities, therefore, different practices, and different local systems composes a thriving linked data ecosystem. These are 5 keywords we like to use to represent the underlying principles: cooperative, shared tools for collaborative data management; sustainable, optimization of efforts for the benefit of all members; open, interoperability for increased discovery of collections; inclusive, diversity for enhancements and equality to access to knowledge; and dynamic, flexibility and interaction are central. But let me dwell on a moment on the meaning of open, and I refer much to what has been illustrated yesterday by Philipp Schröer, and what Nina Servizi will expose more precisely in a moment. So free availability is, of course, a core aspect of having true open data. And interoperability, so conformity to a wide number of standards. Transparency and reusability, with a number of technical and technological aspects involved. Discoverability and accessibility, with, of course, the capability to use actionable URIs. Inclusivity and innovation for a broader diffusion of data that facilitates reuse of diverse purposes and encourage innovation by enabling novel applications, data mesh-up, and the development of new tools and services. And fair by design, staying aligned with the FAIR principles, findable, accessible, interoperable, reusable, guaranteeing long-term integration with a cultural library, archive, and museum architecture worldwide. Datasets are open also as in aggregated form, and of course URIs must be usable without constraints. So to conclude my part, a very brief overview of the linked data platform components that include the cluster knowledge base, or so-called entity knowledge base, a multi-layered entity discovery portal system that can be configured for individual institutions, single consortium, a group of institutions, or a network of consortia. The JCricket entity editor for creating and curating linked data entities stored in the cluster knowledge base. API backbone for seamless interaction with external systems. And integration, of course, with third parties. This is key, as Folio, Alma, and other systems, and also other tools as Sinopia, Marva, and of course authority sources. I'm turning now to Nina Servizi. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Nina Servizi. I am the Associate Dean for Knowledge Access and Resource Management Services at New York University Libraries, and I am also one of the past chairs of the SHARE Family Advisory Council. Next slide, please, Michele. So how do we achieve many of the goals of creating a bibliographic ecosystem based on the linked open data principles that Michele just introduced? I would like to talk about two that are very important. First is governance and long-term sustainability. And then the other, of course, is the importance of open data and a structure that is actually committed to maintaining an open data environment. Next slide. Yes. So oversight of the Share family lies with the Share Family Advisory Council, which includes representative members from institutions and consortia. All members collaborate in policymaking, tool development, sharing expertise, responsibilities, and costs for the community's benefit. This is accomplished through active engagement in different working groups that meet on a regular basis. Next slide. So we like to say governance by libraries for libraries. And as a member-driven organization, we take this seriously. It is the foundation of all of our values. All initiatives and policies are determined by the participating institutions and consortia. For example, we see here the development of the JCricket editor was member-led with piloting and feedback provided by Share family members. Recognizing the need for guidelines and best principles in its use, the Share Family Advisory Council is currently charging a governing committee dedicated to the JCricket editor and the entity knowledge base maintenance. The goal is to sustain high-quality authoritative data within the Share family ecosystem. The membership will be selected from our members. Next slide, please. The same commitment to self-governance led the Advisory Council to release the Share VDE Open Metadata Policy in 2023. The communities and institutions that form the Share family and leverage its linked open data platform technology freely decide how they want to reuse the data output from the linked open data platform. Open metadata strongly resonates within the Share family, and the Advisory Council supports ongoing discussion to revise as needed the open metadata policy. In fact, in 2025, the Share Advisory Council amended the policy to make our commitment to open metadata even more explicit. Next slide. The reason for this is that we understand the importance of primary use cases for open data policies. Open metadata is vital for the health of the larger ecosystem in which libraries, museums, archives, consortia, publishers, and library service providers operate. Metadata is fundamental to the ways the library provides services. Open metadata, in fact, means open science. Flexibility, agility, reduced barriers, and interoperable metadata to support new services and partnerships across the libraries. Foster a safe and legal environment for students and faculty to innovate using library data and content by clearly exchanging institution-specific entitlements, circulation policies, copyright restrictions, and licensed permission restrictions for full-text uses such as data mining and now, of course, AI. To better illustrate how Share family governance and open metadata policies foster innovation in library services, I'd like to turn to a project at my home institution, New York University Libraries. Next slide, please. So New York University Libraries has been a long-time participant participant in the share family. We found that share family to be well aligned with our open data strategy. We had laid out an open data strategy emphasizing enhanced collection visibility and access via linked data standards, improve structured data exchange and interoperability across systems, reduce dependence on closed or proprietary systems and services, prioritize investment in shared infrastructure through collaborative design and development, and leverage BIBFRAME without changing cataloging workflows and LSP. As you can see, many of the principles of cooperation, sustainability, open, flexible, and authoritative that Michele had mentioned earlier are well aligned with the NYU linked open strategy. Next slide, please. So guided by these principles, NYU has started a project to improve resource sharing together with our partners, PALSI, the consortium, the Partnership for Library Academic Library Collaboration and Innovation, Reshare, and Share VDE. Our aim is to facilitate interconsortial electronic fulfillment options for ebooks with secure DRM protection for licensed content. Next slide, please. One more slide. I think we might need to go back to phase one.
This one.
Back one more. I think we might have a slide. We may have a slide missing. Okay, anyway, so phase one of the project will be a multi-year development. The first phase aims to leverage Share VDE entities to enhance metadata indexing in Reshare, enabling more efficient discovery of library resources and streamlining interlibrary loan services. By reconciling duplicate records and clustering works across formats, we can facilitate an e-first fulfillment option for licensed ebooks while ensuring that institution-specific DRM policies are respected. The project will make use of several aspects of the Share family linked open data platform. For example, we will leverage the Share family's modular design. The pilot uses a dedicated tenant within the linked open data platform to manage project-specific data and workflows. This tenant structure allows for focused development and collaboration while ensuring data integrity and respecting the unique needs of participating institutions and consortiums within the broader Share ecosystem. We also will be using the Share family cluster knowledge base, a central repository of high-quality linked data entries enhanced by the Share ontology. This powerful combination will provide advanced clustering across print and electronic formats, boosting metadata interoperability and resource discovery for more streamlined ILF flows and seamless integration with external systems. And, next slide. And finally, combining the power of automatic clustering with a process of human review and refinement, JCricket, a shared entity editor, will allow the PALSI consortium to collectively monitor and improve the accuracy of entity resolution and clustering, ensuring high-quality authoritative data for reuse across participating institutions. As you can see, the suite of tools and services that the Share family provides actually makes them the most logical partner in this pilot, and I do look forward to sharing more in the upcoming months as the pilot progresses. Thank you very much, and now on to my colleague, Roberto.
Thank you, Nina. And I'm sorry if I made some confusion in switching slides.
No worries.
Good morning. My name is Roberto Delle Donne. I'm professor of medieval history and historical research methodology at University of Naples Federico II, with a particular focus on digital humanities and digital libraries. I coordinate the university library system of my institution and have been working on the Share Catalog project since 2015. I'm a member of the Share VDA Advisory Council. I will focus on one concrete experience within the Share family ecosystem, the Share Catalog, developed by a group of Italian university as a shared linked open data catalog. Next slides, thank you. Rather than presenting a purely technical overview, I would like to use this example to reflect on how cooperation, semantic modeling, and open infrastructures can work together in a sustainable and replicable way. Share Catalog is the result of a formal inter-university agreement among several universities in southern Italy. These institutions decided to, not these slides, the one before, Michele, sorry. Yeah. These institutions decide to collaborate not only at the level of services, but also at the level of data models, governance, and long-term infrastructure. What matters here is not the geographical location, but the approach. A group of autonomous institutions choosing to build together something together while preserving local identities and local cataloging practices. Now the next. Thank you. Okay. The original motivation behind Share was quite simple, but also ambitious. We wanted to build a single integrated catalog without centralizing control. Embrace open data and open science principles not as slogans, but as operational choices. And promote active cooperation, creating a real community of librarians, not just a shared interface. From the beginning, the focus was not only on efficiency, but on shared responsibility. Next slide. Yeah. This leads to a key point. Share Catalog is not just a platform. It is a replicable cooperative model. Its core characteristics are interinstitutional governance, shared and negotiated, collaboration based on entities, not on the aggregation of flat records, semantic interoperability understood as an organizational choice, not only as a technical one, and a design meant to coexist with national systems and not to replace them. In this sense, Share can be adapted to other regional or national contexts. Next slide. Yeah. Over time, Share Catalog has evolved significantly. From early experimental version, we moved towards a mature linked data environment based on We can also go to the next one. BIBFRAME, entity clustering, persistent identifiers, and a discovery interface designed for semantic navigation. This evolution shows that linked data catalogs are not static projects, but living infrastructures. Next one, thank you. At this point, I would like to slightly broaden the perspective. Bibliographic data is often perceived as purely technical metadata, but in reality, it is a foundation of scholarly communication. Linked data allows bibliographic metadata to support fair discovery and reuse, as Michele also mentioned, and Nina, interact with research infrastructures and become part of larger knowledge graphs. In this sense, libraries act as a semantic mediators within open science ecosystems. Shared catalog is one concrete example of this role. Next slide, thank you. This approach is not isolated. In September 2025, the University of Naples Federico II hosted the 9th BIBFRAME workshop in Europe with participants from more than 50 countries. That event confirmed something very important. The transition from MARC to linked data is not just a local or technical issue, but a global, community-driven process, as Nina mentioned, in which share is fully embedded. Next slide, please. A crucial component of this ecosystem is Wikidata. In share, Wikidata is not treated simply as an external authority source. It is a shared semantic space. We work on bidirectional alignment between institutional data and collaborative data. Reuse of share identifiers in Wikidata, federated sparked queries that enable real interoperability. These transforms reconciliation into a co-curation and librarians into active contributors to the global knowledge graph. Next slide, please. All this brings us to entity modeling. The real shift is not from MARC to BIBFRAME. The real shift is from static records to dynamic semantic entities. Entity modeling allows explicit relationships instead of implicit textual descriptions, better clustering and reuse, and greater long-term sustainability. BIBFRAME is an enable, not an endpoint. Share functions as a laboratory for this transformation. Next slide, please. I would like to conclude with a broader reflection. Semantic cataloging is not neutral. Ontologies reflect interpretative choices. Interoperability implies shared semantic responsibility. And artificial intelligence, if we want to use it responsibly, needs transparent and curated semantic foundations. In this sense, libraries are not just service providers. They are guarantors of accountable knowledge infrastructures. Share is not only a platform, but a community of practice working in this direction. Thank you very much. I leave the floor to Sebastian.
Thank you, Roberto. Thank you very much. Sebastian.
Hello, everybody. I am Sebastian. I'm Sebastian Hammer with Index Data. I'm very sorry not to be able to be with you today in person. I am part of this group as a software developer. I have been working with technology for libraries, with software for libraries for my whole career. And for the past 30 years, it has been in the form of Index Data, which is a small company that I founded in Denmark in 1994. And it has a subsidiary in the United States. And we have participated in collaborative software development, technology development projects with libraries, with groups of libraries, with other companies for all of this time. So I've been involved in a great number of different types of projects with a focus on collaboration between libraries. And that's really what I want to focus on for this part. So next slide, please. As a way to frame my part of this, I'd like to talk a little bit about the types of projects that I've been working on over the course of the past 10 years or so in particular, and why an open bibliographic metadata or an open bibliographic infrastructure is important for these types of initiatives. I was one of the lead architects of the Folio Library Service Platform, and my team at Index Data built the initial platform. Folio is a community-owned open source library service platform designed to support innovation and new developments for library services. Project Reshare is a community-owned resource sharing platform based around open standards and owned by a community of practitioners and library consortia. It's in use in a number of consortia in the United States as well as a national solution in Australia. The Collaborative Collection Lifecycle Platform is a project to build a collaborative infrastructure to allow libraries to make collective decisions about their collections, to work together as groups, to make decisions about acquiring materials, to make decisions about how to maintain their collections, both over time, but also in response to emergent crises and challenges. What all of these projects have in common is that they seek to create an open and community-owned space for exploring and developing technology in support of libraries working together. And for me, it feels extremely critical if libraries are to remain vibrant and important in the communities that they operate in, that they stay independent of large commercial vendors. We want to see commercial vendors in the space, but it is important for libraries to have ownership of their own technology roadmap so that they don't become fully dependent on a single commercial roadmap. What all of these solutions, what all of these projects have in common, though, is that they depend on reliable, high-quality metadata. If you want to share resources effectively, if you want to collaborate on collection development, if you want to effectively add materials to your collection, you need to have reliable metadata. You need to know that your library is talking about the same material as other libraries do. And it is absolutely critical that metadata is open, that it is reliable, that it is persistent, right? And the move towards linked open data as a model represents an attempt, I think, to move the entire industry in the direction of more precise, more reliable, more shared metadata. And next slide, please, Michaela. And I want to talk a little bit about the journey to get to that point. As some of you will know, the conversation about moving away from MARC as the primary infrastructure for sharing bibliographic metadata is not new. It is a conversation that's been going on for a very long time. I think Share VDE is an incredibly important step forward, not just from a technology perspective, but also recognizing that for this data, for these types of services, to maintain this data in a shared environment, they have to be open, they have to be transparent, they have to be open to community governance. But there are also technical obstacles that we need to address. We essentially have an informal infrastructure for sharing bibliographic data that has evolved over decades based on informally sharing files of MARC records. This needs to be replaced with something else. And to get there, we need to recognize that there are lots of different local practices. We need to realize that there are needs for crosswalks and mappings back and forth between BIBFRAME. There is a need to recognize that MARC will remain the core of library workflows internally for years and decades to come, because of the many different types of relationships and commitments and dependencies that exist between libraries and the library consortia, national utilities, and vendors. So we think in terms of the conversations about APIs, we think in terms of protocols, and I think increasingly also about the role that open source software and open source middleware might be able to play to build bridges between those systems that are dependent on MARC for their workflows and these emergent utilities like Share VDE. So again, we have touched in this presentation multiple times on the idea of open governance and a commitment to open data. And it's just worth representing again that we can only have an open collaborative ecosystem that is governed and led by libraries if we have open bibliographic metadata that is governed and shared by libraries under their control. And I want to just touch on a couple of things as we move forward. Could you skip one slide, Michele, just for expediency? If you hop one more forward, yes. So I wanted to call out here that the Share community has already done a tremendous amount of work to build integrations between Share and other systems. One of the ones I've been directly involved with, together with Lehigh University in the US and Casalini and Atcalt, has been the integration with Folio, where we have built a bidirectional flow of data between Folio and Share VDE as a way to explore and come to understand practical impacts. We are also looking at building integrations between Share VDE and Reshare to support the prototyping project that you heard about a little bit earlier. And maybe one quick hop to the next slide too, Michele, before we stop. I think it is worth, we already had a couple of mentions of AI and the kinds of opportunities that arise from having reliable, semantically rich metadata around. Michele will be able to speak more about some of the specific initiatives that have been developed in the context of Share VDE, but I think it's safe to say that for AI tools to be able to provide really reliable results and services, they need access to reliable data. And it might be worth hopping to another couple of slides forward, Michele. Just to kind of, and this may be a good place, if you agree, Michele, to end and shift to questions. There is so much creativity and so much potential for innovation that can be unlocked if we can unlock and free up our bibliographic metadata and allow it to live and breathe on the web. So I'm really excited to see where this all goes. And just as a software developer, this is long overdue. And I'm really excited to see the work that the Share community has been doing here.
Thank you. I'm trying to now switch the screen so that we can see each other. Let's give me just 1 second. Okay, thank you. Thank you again, Nina, Roberto, and Sebastian. I'm turning now here if there are questions or any aspects you would like to underline further. On the AI aspect that Sebastian mentioned, I would like to refer to the wiki of the Share family, where there are a number of presentations, also very recent. One of Jim Hahn delivered at SWIB that talked about the integration and how semantic data can serve AI in a number of ways, and helping to develop agents for, of course, serving then the end user in various ways. So it's of course a field where very much will continue to come, and it's important to practice and to put at disposal structured and authoritative data, because this is in any case at the basis then of any kind of elaboration and of course enhanced tools. Any question or further comment? We have 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, I bring to Philip Schroeder the microphone, if you don't mind.
Sure, thanks. So I'm Philip Skur from Stanford University. A couple of the wonderful things about the Share family is that the data is open, and many people have talked about that. Also that it is international in scope. So one of the things I think that Sebastian, you talked about as well, is this aspect of maintenance or the working on the entities as they change and evolve over time. So how does Share, especially as an international group, think about this maintenance of entities as they morph over time, especially in an open environment and an international environment?
Sebastian, would you like to say a few words? Otherwise,
I think there's likely, I think that it will emerge that there's more than one answer, and this may not be quite the one you're looking for, but one of the conversations that I have been part in frequently over the past year has been, if we imagine a situation where there is not just one cloud, there's not just Share VDE, but there may be national aggregations of metadata in multiple places. Part of what we need to address is what is the level of synchronization that is necessary between these different groups? How do we keep one national clouds or one regional clouds informed of the changes that happen around it? What are the APIs that are necessary? What are the practices that are necessary? It goes back to, I think, the notion that we have had these incredibly informal and unstructured processes around MARC, and MARC software built around MARC is capable of dealing with a tremendous amount of fluffiness, because MARC data is inherently handcrafted and can be sort of messy. And for this data to be, for linked open data to be truly useful, generally speaking, I think that there is a higher demand for the data to be accurate. So I don't know that all of the answers exist, but I think that we are seeing increasing conversations both between the groups that are developing environments to serve and manage linked open data and the people that are building applications. Nina, you may have thought more specifically about it, but the best that I can really come up with is that we think a lot about about synchronization and relationships between platforms, but I don't know that there is really a pre-built answer. I think this is partly what we need to figure out together over the next years.
Sebastian, I agree with you. I do think it is something that we need to discuss. I think it is not only a question of data spread across different geographic regions, but it is also a question of data that has been optimized for different formats and uses. So if you think of highly specialized repositories, if you're thinking of, museums and national archives that have very specific collection needs, how we use linked data to allow those different data sources to be interoperable will rely on also discussing where and what needs to be synchronized. So I think we're looking at needing everyone in the community to have a commitment to work on these issues, and to provide flexibility on finding solutions, but also just being open that we don't know just how big the synchronizations issues are this early on.
Is it, and I know we're getting close to time, Michaela, if not over, but it might be worth noting that as we see linked data platforms deployed as national solutions and as consortial solutions, you are also seeing very different approaches. You are seeing national solutions that are highly directed towards essentially shared catalogs, where there is a national decision to contribute to one set of entities, and there are national resources and funding made available to maintain those for libraries as a group. Then you have countries like the United States, where libraries are inherently much more independent and tend to organize in consortia. And then you see cross-national collaborations. One of the things that makes the Share platform somewhat unique is that it is, I think, heavily designed and influenced by the need to function in a very heterogeneous metadata environment. So the idea of the prism sitting behind the entity and the idea of tracking the origin and the source of metadata, and to be able to track changes that happen in very disparate systems, I think positions it to be part of that conversation. And that is one approach you'll see, and then you'll see these other sort of much more unidirectionally or policy level alignments in certain types of groups as well.
Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, Nida. Roberto, any last word to close the meeting? Thank you really all for your time and here in the room. Thank you. Have a good day.